Bringing Adrian Wojnarowski, the terrific NBA insider over at ESPN, ESPN.com. Woj joins us here on the show. Hi, Woj.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm fantastic. This Celtics story, going from down Gordon Hayward, down Kyrie Irving, to now headed to the conference finals. Where does this rank for you among, I guess, improbable storylines in recent NBA memory?
Well, I think, they've, it's been a really resilient group and a deeply talented roster. I think you have to give, Danny Ainge a lot of credit for the pieces he put together here, the versatility of the rosters, players who, could play multiple positions and really mature young players, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, who, came into the NBA ready to play and ready to win. It's hard to win in the playoffs at that age and frontline positions being counted on. It's rare. There's a reason typically, teams when teams see themselves as contenders, they're typically trying to do it with veteran players and to see a roster that had obviously been built around Hayward, Irving, being now the conference final against Cleveland, LeBron James with this group is pretty remarkable.
Jason Tatum, as you mentioned, he averaged nearly 24 points per game in this series. His counterpart in this rookie draft class, the actual draft class, Markelle Fultz, couldn't get off the bench. How concerned are the Sixers about Markelle Fultz?
Well, listen, I think you sort of have to take it out of context of the trade because they lost the trade.
Yeah.
Because remember, as you know, Chris, it's not just Fultz versus Tatum. It's having given up another first-round pick, another potential lottery pick in that deal. And that's typically why when you look at almost any sport, you don't see people usually trying to go from 3-1 or from 4-2 because there's got to be a dramatic difference in those players because, again, you're giving up another pick. So I think Fultz needs a big off season, a summer where he can get into summer league, where he can continue to work to get the range back in his shot and to build back his jump shot. All the things that they drafted him for in terms of his ability to get to the rim and be explosive and strong and a finisher in traffic. I think they believe that's all there. But he's got to be able to get, really that full functioning jump shot back that clearly he lost over the course of last year. But it was a gamble of a pick, it was a gamble of a trade. And, Philly's fortunate that they have Embiid and they have Ben Simmons to camouflage that deal because, they're going to continue to pay a price as they lose another pick for it. But, for them to at least get out of the first round of the playoffs, I think made that less of a storyline because the team probably achieved more than most of us thought they might in this season.
Do you fully understand Fultz's issue? Because it's always been a little bit murky to me, whether it's injury related, mentally. Do you fully grasp exactly what went on with him this season?
Well, I think it was both. I think you just said it. It was physical. It was mental. Brett Brown told me last week it's as challenging of a situation as he's faced as a coach in the league. And so, I think that they've been, I think there's been a lot of opinions internally, externally on how they should handle it and how they did handle it. And, he's going to have to be, and the one thing Brown had said to me about him is, I asked him if he thought that he maybe was going to lose him mentally or lose him this year. And he said that he felt that there's an inner toughness, there's a strength to him that pulled him through and that he thinks will keep kind of propelling him forward. But he's going to need that. It's hard to be 19 years old, the number one overall pick, and be a player who can't get off the bench in a playoff series, who missed most of the season. They will label you quickly in this league. And he's got to have to fight against hearing that, listening to that, and then like maybe allowing himself to get caught up in those labels. He's got to break through that. And so ultimately it's going to be on Fultz to push through this and build a career for himself. Talking
to Adrian Wojnarowski, NBA Insider, ESPN, joining me here on the Dan Patrick Show. What kind of changes do the Raptors make this summer?
I think a lot of it's going to depend on what they do with Dwane Casey, because if you're Toronto, I think it's probably hard to say we're just going to run it back exactly the same coach, same core, same team. You could still do that. But if you change coaches, which they haven't decided on yet, then you can say, okay, we're going to bring in somebody else, different philosophy, different style, different scheme, different system, and try that with this group. Or if they keep Case, do they look at some changes? I still think, their young guys are going to get better. And you saw that this year, the growth of that young second unit they have. And then, OG has become became a starter for them. He'll only be better next year. He was coming off an ACL injury in college and didn't have the full offseason. Now he'll have a full offseason to train, and he was terrific for them. And so if you can get growth there and that group to continue to be better and improve, which would be a natural progression, but obviously for where they want to go, and that's advancing in the, to a conference final, to potentially an NBA final, it's still built around Lowry and DeRozan, and that's going to be a big part of, those guys have to play better in those spots in the postseason on both ends for them to be able to do that.
Hey, always great to talk to you, Woj. I appreciate the time, my friend.
Okay, Chris, talk to you soon, man. Thanks for having me.
That's Adrian Wojnarowski, NBA Insider for the ESPN.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.